What's up, guys? How's it going?
Yo, what's going on, Hunter? Nice to see you, brother.
It has been 2 weeks since we recorded the last one, right?
Yeah, it's just guys. The reason why YouTube, our viewers, the reason why it took us a while to record is because Hunter has been doing some film stuff up in Philadelphia. And you can see we're using Facecam now. And thank you guys for the support on the last episode. We got the highest view yet at 143. I don't know what was on the title that gets you guys there, but I'm glad you guys was there, and I'm hoping you liked it. We're on episode 8 already.
I'm gonna say it was. Did we talk about the iPhone 14 in that one,
I think we
or
did, and
was
we
it
all
Spielberg that we talked
it
about
was
on that one?
Spielberg, it was Power Rangers, and it was just life balance.
Okay, so by that point, I think it was Spielberg that probably brought everybody to the house.
No, which was
Which,
good.
speaking of which, Spielberg's got another movie coming out, and it's
Ooh.
based on his life already, and it just got screened at the Toronto International Film Festival.
Ooh.
And people are saying it's his best movie of all time.
We got to see it, Hunter.
Oh yes, again, like it again. They're saying it is Spielberg's best movie, and it's his life story.
And it's even better than Jaws. It even overjumped Jaws.
It's like apparently it's over trumping what do I call that thing? The West Side Story, which like was very close to winning Best Picture on there.
Mhm.
Like, was it John Campia was saying like that was a masterclass in how to do filmmaking in general. Like he was so Spielberg's actually just saying, you know what, I'm gonna tell my own life story. And apparently the only reason he didn't name the movie Spielberg is just because he was trying to be less self-indulgent.
No, he should have named it Spielberg. But we got to see it. When it comes to theaters.
Oh yes, I don't know when it's coming out, but I do know it got screened, and like everybody's just going wild about it.
He obviously directed it, correct? He
Of
produced
course,
it. Yeah, of
I'm pretty
course,
sure.
it's his life story.
Oh yeah, it's his
Yeah.
life story. It's like imagine having to direct your like somebody else to be you in a film.
Right. And I'm glad that he did. Did he even stars in the film too, Hunter? Like, did he have a
It's gonna be
cameo?
it's basically when he was a kid and
Ooh.
when he started falling in love with movies and started becoming a film director on there. So that it's kind of like that type of story. I think the trailer came out, but I'm not sure. But definitely it's a movie that I'm like, oh my gosh, this is gonna probably be, you know, fantastic to watch on there. And also speaking of which, do you know okay, so I'm pretty sure you know him. Do you know Brendan Fraser?
Yes, I know who Brandon Fraser is. He started in the
Yep.
Mummy movies.
So he did a movie called The Whale with Darren Aronofsky recently.
Ooh, I didn't know that because I thought he was done because I know it wasn't his wife suing him for like a big amount of money.
Well,
Ex-wife.
for a good amount of time, he wasn't getting any jobs in Hollywood, which was
No.
very sad. And if you looked at his interviews, he was just like downright depressed, essentially, and you can see it. But now he's actually having a resurgence in his career.
I'm glad because his career went from dog stuff to where he is now, which I don't know why he fell off because he's a very
Um,
damn good
he
actor.
says it because he had sex allegations, like sexual harassment. Against another, like there was a producer apparently groped him, and that really like really made him uncomfortable in there. And then also when he was younger, when he did The Mummy and he did George of the Jungle and he did all these movies, he was a guy who was kind of like, listen, I can take care of anything, I can do everything. And he put his body through so much to a point that I was going like, he just couldn't handle it after a while. Like he had to get surgery on his neck, he had to get surgery on his back, he had to have surgery like almost every movie.
All right, so it sounds like to me that he did damage to his body, plus this. So somebody was sexually going to him, right? Like he
Yeah,
was
somebody,
sexually
basically a
groped.
producer, they were at I guess
Okay.
if they were at a film festival or something like that, and one of the producers grabbed his butt on there, and he was very like majorly uncomfortable, and that didn't sit well with him, and he didn't know how to react on there, so he did
But they
that.
said that he initiated so that he was a lie that almost destroyed his career essentially.
Yeah, so
Um,
basically he was blacklisted in Hollywood for a bit where he wasn't getting any parts anymore. Again, he was just physically not doing that. And then if you actually hear his voice nowadays, it's very grasp. He had to have surgery on his throat, and it was just like if you see him, like if you see him there, and it was after a while, like he wasn't getting any acting jobs whatsoever, and now he's actually starting to have a resurgence where he's in a Martin Scorsese movie. He was going to be in Batgirl, and now he's in the movie The Whale.
which is awesome. So what's the whale about? Let's talk
So
about
The
that.
Whale is about a father who's about, I think he was 300 pounds or 600 pounds. I forget. He's a big guy,
Uh-huh.
and he he now has a he he now has a lover, and he wants to kind of reconnect with his daughter because he's been like distant from her for a good amount of time, and now he's trying to reconnect on there, and the movie screened, I forget where, but he got a 6 minute standing ovation,
That's awesome.
and he cried too. And I'm just like, thank goodness Brendan Fraser's getting work now.
Wonder what happened to his voice. Why he needs
Just
surgery on
again,
it.
just a lot going on. Like again, just he was an actor who really just put himself through. Like he's like saying, no, listen, I'm a lead actor. I got to put myself through hell in order to do stuff,
Okay. So that's probably
and
what, yeah.
just kind of did that. Plus medical issues and all that good stuff.
No, I'm glad. I'm glad that he's coming back because I used to like his, like I said, The Mummies was one of my favorite movies of all time with him in it.
Mhm.
Put him on the map. I would say when I was, when I first saw him, it was in George of the Jungle live action, and then it was um the Mummies. I was a kid obviously when I saw George of the Jungle,
Mhm.
so I forgot that was Brandon Fraser.
Yep. That was again, that was my The Mummy is my favorite movie. Like after a few years, like for a long time, I would just simply say, oh yeah, I like The Mummy, but I don't consider it the best movie of all time. But nowadays in my young adult years, I'm just going like, you know what? I love The Mummy. Just shut up and say it's your favorite movie. Just shut up.
We're in the late 20s, so yeah.
Yeah. I just go again, young adult life. And I
Yeah.
just simply say, just shut up. Just I say, listen, you're an adult. Just like what you like at this point.
Right. So let's see here. So with the new Steven Spielberg movie come out, like I can't wait to see what they do and how they go from him a kid to him to a. They'll probably have an actor obviously when he's a kid to his young adult life to now when he's his age. And so I wonder if he's gonna come in as himself later in the movie with with him being when they because if they're showing his stages of his life. That'd be kind of cool. I wonder if we can see if they did the trailer or not. Then if they did, we can put the link down in the description below for
Okay,
for
it's called The
listeners.
Fablemans.
Okay, let's see.
Um, I'm gonna mute it. We could probably show, we just can't uh put the audio to it, but I'm gonna
Yeah,
now share our
yeah, yeah. We
screens.
can definitely show it.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So on let me actually do this.
So that's his company right there, right? That post up in the beginning right there, correct?
Well, Universal's his home, like his
Yeah,
cinematic home, and then Amblin is his
yeah. Amblin is his, correct?
it's his company.
Yes. So I'm assuming that Universal bought him out.
So when he did Jaws, because Universal was, because Hitchcock was there, a lot of all stuff was there. So he purposely wanted his company at Universal Studios, and they built him his own personal place, like there. And this is actually what Steven Spielberg used to do when he was a kid.
Nice. So we're allowed to show this on. So we should be fine. We shouldn't
I'm
get
pretty sure we're
copyrighted.
fine.
Yeah, yeah. I like that. The actor. I liked how they got the actor for it. I already like the camera angles already.
I got Paul Dano as his dad.
Nice. So this one he got into the theater right here. This one he liked it. And this when he went to the theater and he's like, how they do this, and that's what he wanted to get into it. I'm assuming is that
He
when.
was, he was always really big into film, and this is what he would usually do. He would just make movies. This was actually what he did when he was a kid. He was when he was when he was in the Boy Scouts, there was a merit, you get some merit badges. There was a merit badge for photography, but he didn't have a photography camera, he had a video camera. So he asked him if they could switch up the rules a little bit for him. And he said, okay. So he made a little cowboy movie and just did camera shots on there.
Oh yeah, I definitely like it. This when he this when he first started.
Yep, this is when he was a little kid.
He had siblings too, right, Hunter?
Yeah, I don't know how many he's got on there.
His parents is now gone, correct?
I'm assuming.
If I remember correctly.
I'm assuming, but his dad was in the military.
I don't think they want him to do this at first, correct? They was against this.
They just were, I think they were I think they were supportive. They were just kind of like, you
This
know,
is gonna be good.
oh yeah.
Let's
Oh, he's even Steven
go.
Spielberg even written it.
Yes,
He even wrote the
yes,
movie.
it's November 11th, guys. Now, guys, what we should do, Hunter, we should go see this movie. If you have nothing to do, we need to mark on our calendars on November 11th to where we clear everything. I want to do a podcast in the future for our audience to where we go to the theater and we watch the movie, then we come back and we record a future episode of us breaking it down. If anybody wants to see spoilers, obviously they will have to click off of it. But I would love to talk about it if you're into that. Like I really will go see this in theaters if you want to go see it on November 11th with me.
Oh,
I'd love
again,
to.
it's gonna be a great. Again, it's Spielberg,
It's
so
Spielberg,
and
like
he wrote the movie too. So
yes,
like
and he's my favorite director. You know, he's one of my favorite directors of all time.
again, it's like for me as a filmmaker, when I usually go into like whenever I think of filmmakers, I don't try to think of Spielberg because I'm just like, well, Spielberg up here, everybody
Yeah,
else right here.
down there.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like right here. Even the great ones, like even Tarantino and all that good stuff, I go like, well, they're awesome. Like this is the mark for great, but this is Spielberg's level, you know. And I just keep when I watch his interviews back to back, you just feel so inspired to go like, you know what, I can make this movie. I could try this. And apparently, before he does a movie, he watches three movies that he always watches, and he just watches them to say like, this is the standard I got to make them at. And they're the old classic movies. I can't remember. I don't know remember what the movies are, but
No, I like how he has this up to a standard. I don't think there's any bad movie we can think of on top of my head that I would say, "Oh my God, Steven, what was you doing?"
he only hates one movie that he did
Of all time,
of
all
all.
his movies of
He
all
just simply
his,
says, "I would want to redo that movie."
which is that's good. That for a
Um,
filmmaker, especially, you're probably because with a filmmaker, you're always like, oh, like you're always skeptic about your stuff. But he only had one movie, which was it like,
it was
uh,
Hook.
yeah, I couldn't think of it. Yeah,
Like Hook was the only movie he says, "I really wish I could redo that."
I forgot he did Hook.
Well, Hook was actually made as he was brought in last minute to do it. Actually, rephrase that. So here's the story of this. I'm gonna make a little, I'm gonna make it however it is. The idea was Steven Spielberg wanted to do a movie of Peter Pan. He wanted to do when he was older and all that good stuff. But I guess something came out of the way where he's like, well, I can't do that movie because XYZ. I don't remember what it was. So then Nick Castle was brought on to do it, to direct
Oh,
it.
Nick Castle. Oh,
Nick
okay,
Castle was the guy who was the first guy to play Michael
yeah,
Myers.
my yeah.
And they got again, they got Robin Williams on there, and they got Hoffman.
Yeah, I know Trevor. Not Trevor. Oh, I know you're talking about Hunter. I
Yeah,
can't think of his
Dustin
first
Hoffman.
name.
Dustin Hoffman.
Dustin. There it is.
It was Dustin Hoffman, and they got on the movie. And when they started shooting, both Robin Williams and Hoffman they weren't getting all along with each other. And eventually, I think there was a deal that went on there that I think Spielberg was like, I actually want to do this movie. Like, I want to do it. Like, I'll buy, we'll pay you out, but I want to do this movie. Like Spielberg was just very much like, you know what, I'll do it because he just was like there. So he did the movie, and he did like one of those old classic serial movies, or back like 1930s type movie, where it was like on a set. You can kind of tell it was a set, and as a kid you can kind of tell. But when I look back as a filmmaker, like, okay, that was the style he was trying to enable. But that was the one movie he says, like, you know what, I would have wanted to redo that movie to kind of like fix it.
That's like us with the Sara. If we can get, hopefully in the future we can get a budget, I would like to go ahead and redo that over again.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we definitely got I know what camera I'm going to shoot it on. I know exactly we're doing all of it. So at least the quality of that on there. I'll just hire on a different writer, kind of like help me fix fix up the stuff. Cause just want to make sure, because I have a process now, because I just know, writing, I like making the story of the movie and constructing it, but I'm not really good at the dialogue part. So I just simply say, like, this is the scene. I already know I'm going to shoot. I just need you guys to tell what the actors, it's like what they're going to say.
Right.
Because
All right.
I just remember, like, here's something funny. So we all love Levita.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do. We love
Levita's
Levita.
like, here's the thing. Okay, so for anybody who doesn't know, Levita's my film producer. Um, I've worked with her on like 12 different projects now.
12 already? Holy
12
crap.
projects in a year.
In a year.
In a
That's a
year,
lot.
we've had about like 12 projects on there. Um,
One a month.
she is fantastic. She is the one who gets stuff done. I shoot stuff, but she's the one who actually makes the things tangible. I give her nothing but all credit in the whole entire world for making things happen. And that's one of the most important things you can do. And love her to death. But yeah, with that being said, she's very much in a way of, like, to give you an example, when I did orders, when I first sent her the script for the movie, it had no dialogue in it whatsoever. It was just 14 pages of just scenes and it actually told you everything that's happening in the film. And I sent her to her and she says, there's no dialogue. He's like, there's no dialogue. And I'm like, yeah, you don't really need, the dialogue is not really the important part of this. He says, well, what do you call a script that doesn't have dialogue in it? It's a script. It's like, it's a script. It's just a script with no dialogue. But yeah.
She, like, pretty much it was a script, but it was the outline too, because you just went to show to see if she was interested before.
Because again, like it was broken down like a script. It was like, exterior, where the place, night, day, night, and then it told you everything that's happening throughout there. So if we were to just go shoot the next day, we can easily just look at it and say, okay, that's what we're doing.
Right.
So there's that. But then I also got into an argument with her today. Because she was very, for me, and I always go with the mentality of like, I'm terrible with names. I'm terrible with
names too. Yeah.
I'm terrible with names. But I know who I'm talking. I know what I'm talking about.
Right.
I know what I'm talking about. Levita's very much like, you got to know the name exactly to the T. Like, I'm not gonna. There's a movie.
Did you call her something, or you call somebody else not their name?
So basically, there was a project coming out. I can't tell you the project's name. I'm not gonna.
I got you.
I gotta spoil it. I can't say anything about it right now. But there's a movie that we're being brought onto, and the movie has it's spelled one way, but it's meant to be a different name. It's like a French one.
Okay, I can see how you messed that up.
But yeah, like the way it's spelled. Like, and when I speak of it, when I say the name, what I'm talking about.
Right.
But she's going like, no, it's not this, it's this. And I say, listen, what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, what I'm talking about. And that's the most important part. Like, if we have to do promotion for the film, then I, probably should know the name of the movie.
No, but the thing is, that's one thing that we struggle with is names. Like, we're not good with names.
Like, to give you an idea, I worked at a haunted house one time, like a haunted house attraction. And when I did the haunted house attraction, there was this guy I worked with. And I knew, like, him and me were like perfect team members. Like, we were perfect team members. I could easily, him and me like coordinated all our movements. Like, okay, I'm going to scare him right here. You're going to come across here and you're going to scare him here, do all that stuff. I worked for him for 2 years. I did not know his name for 2 years. Like, him and me, like, always hung out when we were working. We always like coordinated all our stuff. I'd be like, I'm here, you're here. Da, 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 da. Like, could not tell you his name. Like, nowadays I could, but like back in the day, I couldn't tell you whatsoever.
That's like when I met you in 2017. I never told you my name.
Yeah, believe me. Like, I'm one of those people that's like, if I know who you are, then I just know that. That's all I need to know. I don't need to. Like I can like you and me could work completely together, and I could not tell you, your first name, last name, and stuff like that.
Right. Anyways, let's shift gears because you guys know what time it is. We know we got to talk about it because I'm big on this. The new Apple products is released.
Oh, he
It's
hates them
coming
all.
out.
He hates the company. He
I
hates.
love it. We have to talk about it. ISO16. I want to hear your opinions on it, Hunter. We got, in this podcast, the viewers know we have to talk about Apple in every episode at some point, especially when they're doing something. So Apple came out with the iPhone 14 plus, just I think the iPhone 14
They
plus.
came with the iPhone 14,
Yeah,
14 Pro, and then 14
Pro
Pro
Max.
Max.
Yes, and then they came
They
out with
got rid of the minis.
they did, and then they also came out with the Apple Watch Ultra, which I the more that they talk about it, I know that I'm not a climber and I don't go like anywhere, but I just love the design look of it. So Hunter knows probably eventually in the future he's gonna see me with the Apple Watch Ultra. She's like, you don't need it.
I've been looking at you, dude. Like, what do you? It's like
What are you doing?
you're literally streaming. You don't need it.
I know, but the
That's
thing is,
it's
I
like you spend
love it.
$800 on something that
I think it's three. I think it's three
it's
something.
800.
Is it
The
800?
Ultra is 800
Yeah, I said eventually. I didn't say now, but I'm just saying this. I
because
like the
like
way it looks.
they came out with the three ones. They came with the SE2,
Yep.
the 8, and then the Ultra. The SE I think is like 249. The for the 8 I think is 399.
Yeah,
And then the
399.
Ultra is 800.
Yes, but I like the Ultra Hunter. To be fair, I like the thing. I see it's really good for going out, going hiking, going swim, going scuba diving. It's like it's. I get that. I'm not none of that. Me, more likely, I'm probably not gonna get it because I don't do all that. You know what I'm saying? But I just like the design. I have to say that I do like the design. So all these products being released, I wonder. And the ISO16, it's different. I like it. Like, what? How you feel? Have you been touching the ISO16 lately? How are you
So
liking it?
for me, it's very much, well, I mean, it's very nice. It has a new aesthetic pleasing thing.
I think that's a new UI too.
So it has again, the major thing that came away with me, and I know a lot of people that they have a lot of other stuff, is the new lock screen on there. And they had something in there that, like, when I first thought of it, I'm like, that might be a problem. But the good thing is Apple did fix it. They did fix it, which was when you log on, when you get on your phone, you can automatically customize the lock screen. You don't have to get into the phone to unlock it and then customize your lock screen. You can just customize it right then and there. And I thought to myself, I was like, wait a second, what would happen? Like, what if somebody random, like, what if what if your partner or your parents decided, you know what, I want to get into your phone, I want to customize that lock screen for you, because then you can actually pick your the background, you can pick all that good stuff, right? Right, all that stuff. And I figured this out by testing it, and they thought of it too, which is you still need your Face ID to unlock your phone in order to start unlocking that feature. So
Yeah.
So that was a good thing that they fixed. So it's not like someone can just pick up your phone and say, "Oh, I'm going to customize your lock screen," and all that good stuff. They actually have to have your Face ID in order to fix it.
Which is good.
Yep.
Which is
They also changed. I've tried this. It doesn't. I haven't seen it yet, but apparently now you can unlock your phone sideways now.
yes.
But
Yes.
I'm not sure if it's like for old phones. I mean, might be for your phone. But not for my phone because mine's still the 10s.
The one thing I have a problem with, I'm gonna show the audience this, is the fact is right here. I'm gonna hide my alerts. So with this right here, you guys can see up on the screen where my battery is. I think it's right here. The fact is that they brought the thing back to where you can have the actual what the percentage is. One thing, I don't know if it's a bug or Apple didn't intend to do that, but the fact it would never go down. So the fact is, if you're not really paying attention, you could have like 50% left, but it doesn't go down. It has a full battery. You have to literally scroll down onto the what you call it, I forget what you call it, the display screen, to see the control center to see what percentage that you're at. Hopefully I think it might hopefully come out in the update and the future update to where as your battery goes down, it will slowly go down on the top of the thing like it used to
Well,
do.
in contrast to you, because I haven't had that problem, but I have had it where my
Mm.
phone is dying a lot.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I haven't had
like
an issue with it.
I mean, I told you. I mean, I told when we met
Mhm.
yesterday. I
Yeah.
even told you I was. Well, that wasn't yesterday. It was the day before. But anywho, that I told you is like, update's gonna come out. Batteries are gonna start getting hit really, really much. And my battery, yeah, it's starting to go through the. Like I was just texting somebody, and when I was texting them, literally it went down from 50% to 40%, and then went from 40% to 30%, and then went from there, and it was starting to go like eat up. And all I was doing was texting. I wasn't even like, doing video chats. I wasn't doing any stuff like that.
Yeah, like I said, it's like mine's at 84. I charged it earlier, but like I said, so it's they will release it. I know that, Hunter. Like,
Oh
and
yeah,
somebody was complaining on Facebook. I was because I'm in some Apple community things or like on Facebook, and people were like, "Oh my god, this is churning up my battery." Blah, 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 blah. Guys, wait, I'm gonna put it out there. If you guys have an iPhone, you updated to iOS16. Apple does that at first. Then a couple of days later, they're going to release another update, and then it will go back to normal. Your phone won't be eating up as much battery with this new system. The new system's out, so when it first comes out, it's gonna be a little wonky. It's gonna have bugs. It's just like with anything with when it comes to releasing stuff. Apple will patch it out and get out another one. Okay, like it happens every time because it's like, don't be, I need a new phone because technically wait a couple days, wait a week, and it should be fine. Correct, Hunter?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
basically, a lot of stuff happened like that, and a lot of people say, I mean, going back to like how Apple did it back in the day, before they got caught, they actually were intentionally doing that, where they would lower down your battery when you did that on there.
To
They
make
would
you
say it's like,
upgrade.
"Oh no, we're trying to help you." It's like kind of, it's like they didn't give anybody else. So they put out they put it out there. This was like, I think 14. This was like iOS 14 or 13 or whatever. Um, that it was like, okay, we're gonna make all older phones just work like brand new phones, and it worked, and all that stuff. But I mean, even to Apple's defense in this type of degree, um, you know, you're gonna you put out a update, and it goes to all phones. It goes out to all phones. Not every phone is then, yes, they're manufactured to be the same thing, but they're not all the same thing. You know,
Yeah, inside.
sometimes a phones use a lot more. Like maybe, you and me probably are on our phones quite a bit.
Yes, we are.
So that
No,
kind
I
of
am.
drains our battery a little bit more. And so our phone kind of goes like, okay, I'm using a lot of power. I know I'm going to be using a lot of power. Somebody may say, like, I just use my phone like twice a day. So they actually, they won't be taking so much on there. So when you put out an update, sometimes it tries, because when they put out the update, they're trying to make it to the brand new phones. Like the update will go into the brand new phones, and the new phones will operate perfectly because that's what they designed it for. And then the other phones are kind of like, you're there. You're kind of there.
That's why they're releasing the update with something in the software of ISO 16, so older phones can handle the new software that's being put into the phone. Correct?
Yeah, it's just kind of like that. It's like if you get
Yeah.
it's like if you get a new car, like you get a brand new engine, or you get a brand new like electronic device, and you put it into a car, and you're trying to ramp it up. Basically, it's built to be in a brand new thing, but your car is probably like a 2010 on that thing. And the car can't really handle that brand new thing because it's going like, what the heck are like, I've never had to deal with this thing before.
Right.
And then they have to put an update out saying, okay, listen, we'll accommodate for that car now.
Essentially, that's what they're gonna do. So anybody that is panicking, just don't use your phone as much. And they're like, well, I need my phone.
It's just wait,
Yeah, just wait.
just
Yeah, be
be
patient.
just be patient, because usually that's the thing that'll correct, is just being patient.
Yes, and maybe get off your phone a little bit. That should tell you, even though because the new update is right now, pretty much when anything that's updates, when new ISO stuff comes out, especially going from the 15 to the 16 or the 16 to the 17, once that happens, it like we just got done saying, it's new and the phone's like, I'm not built for the, like, because again, like the iPhone 12s, the iPhone 13s, they're built for it, but it's like you just got done saying the iPhone 14s is what this ISO is made for. The other phones are not right now until they release the update. with adding 16.1.0. I think is going to be correct, Hunter. I think so. 16. Yeah.
Yeah,
16,
it's like ISO
yeah.
6 point whatever.
Oh yeah.
But the thing that I'm very okay. I was looking. So, okay, this is India. That's why. I have no idea why that popped up on my thing right here. Basically, I'm just trying to go to the website. I'm trying to go to the Apple website, and it gave me the India, like India site. I'm like, we're not in India. I don't know why I would do that. Okay, so they're not okay. Okay, obviously they're not going to show the 13 Pro or the 13 Pro Max because
That's not
obvious reason.
that's not new.
Yeah, they're going like, oh, we're for yes, the old phones can do what we can, but the only reason why I want to look up that was because of the camera, because the new 14 apparently has a 45 megapixel camera, which that's huge. Like I have inside my one of my old camera boxes. One of the first phones that had a 45 megapixel sensor on there was a Zeiss lens on there. Still great to this day of the camera wise, and it's a 2000 and I'm gonna say 7.
Jeez, we're
And
going
it's
back that far.
okay. It is a okay. So they really jumped in terms of the megapixel of that with it because they jumped from 12 megapixels to 45. So the resolution on your phone, like on your phone, is going to be spectacular.
So the iPhone 14. So is it worth updating from the 12 or anything
So
anything below that? What do you think in because of the
so
camera? Because with that, that's
um
huge. That's a huge camera bump.
so the question is more or less, what do you need it for?
Exactly.
Because obviously all of us are gonna go like, oh yeah, it's a great phone. It's like, okay, well, am I gonna use
Everything.
everything? Because like you go up to the grandmother who wants to just use her phone. She just wants to get a brand new phone. Her getting this, I was like, oh yeah, the camera's 45 megapixels. The battery life is fantastic on there. She goes like, I just want to, make a phone call.
And yeah.
And
So
so
I would say like the SCs or the
it,
small phones would probably be suffice for her for basic use.
which also that's a good question of like, what's their new Apple line? Because I'm not sure, like with this one right here, I'm not sure if they got rid of the SEs or they got rid of all that good stuff.
They wasn't selling last time I
Okay, so
checked.
here's what they have. This is the new lineup because they had the 11s for a while. So you got the 14 Pro, the 14, the 13, the SC, and the 12s.
Which I have. I got the 12 Pro.
Yeah. So that's the only phones nowadays you can get. So there's only 4 phones. Yes, of course, there's the Pro and the Pro, the Pro Max and all that good stuff. Yes, that is true. But, more or less, there's only like a couple models of the new phone line on there. So yeah, because I remember when I worked there at one point that yeah, we were we had the 11s and everybody wanted the 11. Well, there are some people who wanted the 11s on there, and now they finally got rid of the 11s. So I'm gonna imagine how that will react to the people who are buying those.
Wow, why was buying 11 instead of going to the
It
12s?
was so overseas
Oh,
stuff on there. I'm not going to go into too much detail of that because of
I got you. You don't.
confidentiality and all that stuff on there. But but yeah, just selling phones overseas.
Oh yeah. So yeah. So again, I think iOS16 is great. It's going to get better, more customizations, which we all want from Apple, and
Mhm.
those handing it to us, which is nice. Everybody likes customizations. I love it. I like it so far. Just little stuff they need to fix, like the battery up on top of your screen, to where when you start losing percentage, the battery should follow it with it. So
Oh, believe me, believe my phone just like it gets chewed up.
Oh yeah, but your phone is older too. So
That
compared
is
to
true.
mine,
That is true.
mine is 2 generations or 3 generations. What do you want to call it? Whatever, how you want to say it.
Mine was an XS,
Yeah.
XS 11, 11 Pro, 11 Pro, 11 Pro Max, 12.
Yeah. So it's almost like 3, 4. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
about 3 generations.
yeah.
Um, But
That's
yeah,
why
I'm just
mine's probably handling it better than your phone
oh
is.
yeah, which I'm not too afraid
But they'll fix it. They'll fix it, like we
because I
said.
mean my phone just works out fine. Because again, it turns on, make a phone call, do all that stuff.
I can see only upgrading Hunter if something happens to it.
At this point, yeah, I like it's one
If
of
it
those like
dies, if it dies.
I don't try to buy the most expensive things anymore. I just try to like I go like, listen, are you actually going to use this type thing?
I understand that. You
I
know me already.
I just kind of
I
got to a
had to
point.
have the expensive stuff. That's why I love Apple so much. The reason why I like Apple a lot is I like the software. I like how it's closed. I know it's expensive. I like to pay for expensive shit.
Wait, like to give you an idea, I'm not sure how much you guys can see of this on there. It kind of scared me. So this is the Canon C70 right here. This thing's a $6,000 camera on there.
Jeez.
$6,000 camera, and we pair it up with like Zeiss prime lenses, like the big high end like cinema lenses. Those guys are almost like, you're talking about $10,000 right there. And so nowadays, I just it came to a point where I was kind of like, I don't need this camera because unless I'm doing client work constantly, where I'm most like, it's better that I have the camera. I kind of say, you know what, we're just gonna rent it because the renting price for that camera was like $500
A day
for 4 days.
For 4 days. That's
Yeah.
cheap.
That's really cheap. Like,
Very cheap.
it basically, basically the whole package was like $2,000 for 14 days. Like compared to what, $17,000 to get the whole package.
That's very expensive.
So yeah, I just kind of got to that point. The only things that I'm trying to get nowadays is just more lights and just ironing out some extra things. By the way, filmmaking is very expensive.
Oh, it is. It's definitely expensive because you have to pay everybody.
It is a rabbit hole of buying products.
Yeah, because you have to pay everybody. But anyways, I know you're not a big sports fan, Hunter, and I don't think a lot of our viewers are either. But we got to talk about them Cowboys for your side. I know that you don't follow a lot of sports, but I know you are the Cowboys.
Well, I know you're a Cowboys fan.
No, no.
Again, here's this guy. He hates the Panthers. He thinks the Cowboys are awesome, and he wants them to be the best team of all time.
No, I'm a Panthers fan, guys. YouTube, don't listen to him. I'm a Panthers fan if you guys know me. But anyways, let's talk about this. Dak Prescott hit his hand on Shaq Barrett on Sunday's night's game, not once but twice, and broke the bone. I think right in here. If you guys can see, I think it's like right here. I think right here on the stone hand. He's out to 6 to 8 weeks, and they're gonna go with Cooper Rush, the backup quarterback. He had one good start last year. How do you guys? I want to get your take on that, Hunter. And everybody, all the CeeDee Lamb shares in Dynasty, including myself, is whimpering right now because I traded for CeeDee. I traded away DJ Moore and Elijah Moore for CeeDee Lamb and Rashad Bateman this offseason in fantasy. Sorry about that, guys. Let me put my phone on silent. My bad. And expect my grandma to freaking call me. Anyways, back to what I was saying. So I want to see how you feel about that, Hunter.
I mean, if you're talking about like somebody who basically he broke, you're saying he broke his he broke his finger on there.
He broke his on his thumb, and so your thumb is really important. I know I'm not a doctor, guys, but I can tell you your thumb is really important if you guys don't know that, especially when you're trying to grip the ball and throw it. So he broke the bone here. He had surgery, a successful surgery on that thumb, so he will be out for 6 to 8 weeks.
I mean, that's it's just a matter of healing.
Oh yeah, but the thing is that for these Cowboy fans, they'll already saying the season's over with. And then I said for the shares, for the CeeDee Lamb shares, because he was supposed to have a breakout season this year. He's going to third year, and he hasn't done anything. Everybody's paying these premium prices in fantasy for him. But yeah, like you were saying, so he did, like I said, he did break his bone in his thumb.
I mean, miracles happen everywhere. And I'm not just saying it because of Cowboys, but it's like, there's miracles that happen everywhere at this point in time. Sometimes just, it's probably like to be a few games that are going to be really hell, essentially. And then when he gets back, of course, you're not going to be able to get the full 100% performance out of them. But probably within that last couple of weeks of the season, if anything, they're going to probably get some good games out of it if he's like fully like gone through good therapy for his hand, essentially. Okay. Good.
This thumb in particular, it could derail his career. What I found out, I did some research. I was hearing from the fantasy doctors over on YouTube, because this is actually a doctor that does stuff like this, so he knows about these injuries because he's a doctor. Um, um, if they screwed this up, his career could be over. That's what I was hearing. Don't know how true that is. But at the same time, he did look horrible on Sunday night.
Hmm.
He didn't look like the Dax Prescott from last year. He looked god awful. And then you got CD Lamb get all these targets. He had like over 13 targets and had 2 catches. Like, why is that? So it's like, I know you could say, let's it's all Dak's fault. It's really not. CD Lamb didn't look like he was separating correctly, or they'll just because he's the one, because I guess since he's the one there, the defense is just focusing on him until Michael Gallup gets back. That will open up the field a little bit more for Lamb. So I'm put out there, if you guys listen to this and you guys play fantasy football and you have CD Lamb, don't panic. I have a share of CD Lamb myself in my home league. Don't panic. Don't sell early. If you're going to sell, I would say get a first and a second, and maybe like a Treylon Burks if you're scared. See if you can get that from the other owner that you're trading with, because I still think CD Lamb, he still has the high ceiling to be a top 5 dynasty wide receiver in fantasy personally. So that's what that's something I was talking about. I know that you're not a big sports fan. I know our listeners are not a big sports fan, but I want to include that because
I mean, again, who knows? Maybe somebody want to talk about it and they'll have a 5-page like dialogue in the comments.
I would love for them to tell me what they think. Like I said, is just keep your shares of CD. He's only 23. Keep
right.
your shares of CD. I just don't think Dak is good as people think he is. That's me personally. I'm not trying to ouch to you, Hunter, but I don't think Dak is as good as he thinks he is. Like people think he is. Go back and watch that Sunday night game before he broke his thumb, and he was awful.
Mm-hmm.
I know that the Bucks' defense are good, but he was just awful. He was dog. So right. I don't know when he comes back, would he? I know it's game 1, but it's like, since he's going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks. So how is he going to be when he comes back?
I mean, there's only time can tell right there. It's a matter of that. But it's funny when you really think about it, because again, talk about how film usually works. Because Ryan Coogler, I'm not sure if you know who he is.
I heard his name before.
Black
Coogler.
Panther,
yep.
Creed, Fruitvale Station on there. He's a terrific filmmaker. When he would, because originally he was going to be a quarterback.
Really?
He was going to be a quarterback. He went to school for that. That's what he was going to go for.
What made him switch his career?
So he became a filmmaker because while he was in class one day, his teacher, they said, okay, you got this assignment, you got to do creative writing, you got to do all this stuff. And after that happened, they were like, you actually write fantastically. I think you should write screenplays and make movies. And he did. But when he talked about it, he says filmmaking is different from sports, because as a sports guy, if you say you're about 30, 35, you're basically saying, okay, your career is basically over at this point.
Not for quarterbacks. Quarterbacks can go up to age 38. But Tom Brady's
going into that right there. Basically,
you're
once you get into like your 30s, they're basically saying, yeah, your body's not gonna be able to take too much. So it's kind of like get ready for retirement year. Filmmaking is very much.
I do want to comment on that. I didn't mean to cut you off to the audience. It depends on if you're playing quarterback. It depends on what position you play in the NFL. If you make it that far, it depends on if you're getting hit constantly. Like the quarterbacks that are more running, like Lamar Jackson and Cam Newton was, and like Lamar is, they're high risk. So their bodies would tend to give out as they get in their 30s if they if they get hit constantly compared to a quarterback that can stay upright and they have good offensive line. So that all factors into. But continue.
Yeah, you can do that. Whereas when you're a filmmaker, basically when you hit your 30s, essentially you're still young. You know,
Oh yeah.
you still have a full career ahead of you. You're just going like, listen, you barely know anything, and you're basically in your 30s. So like I always like hearing that sports analogy when like with Ryan Coogler, he was like
I didn't know he was going for the trying to be a NFL quarterback. I didn't
he
even
was
know
trying to
that.
be he was trying to be in the NFL, and then he majored in medical, so that way if you know sports didn't work out, he would become a doctor. But then when he was in college, his professor told him like, no, you're actually doing a really great job writing. You should make movies. And he thought she was crazy. He was going like, I was
What are
like,
you talking about?
what are you talking about on there? So then he eventually he picked up it was a CD, it was a DVD of Pulp Fiction, which had
Ooh.
the script of Pulp Fiction it had the script of it on the DVD. So he copied that and he just took that as a template of like how to write. So then he started writing screenplays. And then he got into it where he was like, so he wanted to make Creed. That was one of his movie. He was the movie he wanted to make Creed.
Yeah,
And of
he's the
course,
one that did Creed. He's the one that did Creed. That's
he's the
right.
guy who got Creed moving. So he went up to Sylvester Stallone and said, I want to make Creed. And Stallone was like, listen, you haven't made a movie yet. You're kind of inexperienced. It's a good idea, but probably is not a good idea. He's like, but thanks for the idea. He said, okay. So he went out and made a movie, which won, one of the best pictures in film festival circuit. And then they
Love
asked
it.
him, they said, so what do you want to do next? He said, I want to do Creed.
He
It's,
went to Sylvester, right? Or
and then
the
Stallone was
Sylvester
like,
came to him, right?
either this kid's really trying to make me mad or he's trying to do something.
It's a good job make me
So
mad.
then they went forward and, so eventually they came to there and they made Creed, which
He directed it, right?
he
Ryan.
directed it. He
Yeah,
wrote
right.
and
Okay.
directed it. And then he went on to do Black Panther right after that, which almost won Best Picture.
Yeah, so he's a upcoming next Steven Spielberg because
He's only, from what I know, he's only done 4 movies, and already his career is
set. Like
like
people want to hire him.
yeah, 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 Ryan. Who?
Is he young, Hunter? He's in his 20s,
I'm
right?
I'm gonna say he's in his 30,
Okay, he's in 30s.
86. So he's 36.
He's 36. Okay, so he's in his mid 30s.
Yeah, and he's doing fantastically for his let's see, director. He's directed 9 things. He
When
did
did he first start at Hunter? Like
okay, so
9 years ago?
his official first movie, not Karen short films, not including that, is Fruitvale Station, Creed, Black Panther. Which goodness, dude, you already got those 3 as your first.
When did he make his first film, Hunter? What year do you remember?
It was 2013.
2013. Okay. So
Then
that
he
would have
made,
made him, that would made him that would make him around our ages. He was like around 25, 26.
so then he did
Started,
Creed,
he
and
was
then he
very
did
young.
Black Panther, and then he did Wakanda Forever, which is the new movie coming out. Now he's doing Wrong Answer, and then he's directing episodes for scenes for minors.
That's cool how he went up to just to Sylvester when he said I want to do Creed without doing the movie, and it's Sylvester like, kid, please, you don't have nothing out right now. I love the idea, but please. That's cool how he actually had a shot to talk to Sylvester
Yeah,
alone.
he
He
went up
was
to him.
yeah.
Yeah, he went up to him and he said, I want to do this movie. And because it was really a personal movie for him. It wasn't really because his dad had cancer. Unfortunately, his dad died,
Before he
so
could do the movie.
yeah. And so, but when his dad was in the hospital, all he wanted to watch was Rocky. And they just watched it over and over and over. So to Ryan Coogler, Creed wasn't just a movie. He was like, I want to just do a movie on with this big IP. He was like, this is a personal story for me to make a movie that my dad loved to death.
I just wish his dad could have seen it before he
And that,
died.
I mean, he might have. I don't know if he died beforehand or his dad died after, but yeah. So again, that's beautiful, like how he went from that, where he went from like a guy who was like, again, he did a few short films. He did 3 short films beforehand, and then he did Fruitvale Station, and then he did Creed, which was like his dream project. Like he was telling every producer says, "What do you want to do next? What do you want to do next? What do you want to do next?" He says, "I just want to do Creed." And he did that, and then he went from that to Black Panther. So he went from kind of like a low budget movie. I mean, low budget for studios
So
to Marvel
Paramount,
movie.
paid for the
So
Creed,
so that was
right?
MGM
MGM, okay.
who got bought up by Amazon recently. Um, they did so they owned the Rocky series. Um, so he went from,
Amazon's buying everything. We need to stop that.
I mean, Disney and Amazon at this point.
Dude, I don't want that to be a thing, bro. That's not choices.
Yeah.
That's a was that a monopoly? I think it is.
It's, well, right now, I mean, it's not yet a monopoly just because, there are other uh companies right now who are there. But if you're really being serious, they're really the only ones that are
That's
like,
what I'm saying. You got Amazon has the top dog with Disney. They're buying everything. So that's not good.
say
Um,
IMDb is not showing me the studio.
Dang, but at least so he went to Marvel after that, so that was kind of cool. He got a chance to work with Chadwick before he died, which
Yeah, and
rest
actually
in
he was
peace,
the only guy
Chadwick.
who knew that Chadwick was gonna die.
He told Chadwick told him.
So Chadwick was actually the guy who told him, like, hey, listen, you know, I'm not gonna be able to make it. So he was only one of the few, I mean, opposed from Chadwick's family, of course.
So he told Googler or whatever his name is. He told him not to tell anybody.
I think it was just like in confidence. Okay, the movie was done by Fruitvale Station was by the Weinstein Company.
He did stuff for Weinstein. I didn't know that.
So he went from Weinstein to MGM to Marvel
Just like that, and probably in the last
in 3 movies.
in 3 movies. Like so, he was in his 20s when he did that. So he was like 26, 27. Because if he did in 2013 is when he did that.
So it was
He
10
did
years ago at this point.
yeah. So and he was 20. He was 36 now. He was 20, 25, 26 around then. So
Yeah.
he was very like young. He set himself up really nice to where he's at now.
Mhm.
And that's
And
awesome.
um
I don't think he ever done a bad movie ever since he started.
yeah, no, like literally, here's the thing. I think, and this is just because of how I think it is. I don't think Wakanda Forever is going to be as good as the first one. And I don't think it's going to be critically liked as the first one. Just because of how they're doing. Because here's the thing. As much as we can like sit here and say, listen, Chadwick died, we understand, but they're moving forward with it. They're not replacing him. They're not doing that stuff. We're just kind of moving forward without him on there. A lot of people are just going to be like,
Black Panther without Chadwick is not Black Panther.
yeah. So that's what they're saying on there. Which the character of Black Panther is a generational thing. It's supposed to be like,
Exactly.
after one dies, the next one takes over.
So hopefully they continue making movies. And I get like rest in peace. It just sad what happened to him. It's just that I hope they continue making it because I like Black Panther. I saw it. I don't think I saw 2, but I saw 1 with Chadwick. They need to redo the story, I guess. Like you said, it's like technically, like you said, it's a movie or storyline to where when one Black Panther dies, the other one rises out of the ashes after that.
Yeah, they pick out the next one.
Yes.
And well, again, to give credit to Chadwick on there, he was sick during Infinity War and Endgame, and yet he still showed up to work going like, listen,
I know I'm dying, but I'm still doing my job.
He says, listen, this is a very inspirational character for everybody. Let's get out there and do it.
I just can't believe I didn't know he was sick. Nobody did, other than the people close to him.
Yeah. And he kept it very close to the chest. And, Ryan Coogler was one of the few people who actually knew, like, yes, this was this. So he kind of kept it. He was very much like keeping respect to Chadwick to do it. And to give you an idea of like the budget for Fruitvale Rail Station, which is his first movie. He did it for $900,000,
With a
and
Robert Rodriguez style.
he made $17.4 million.
Sheesh.
So almost
That
double the money.
that should tell you guys you don't need high tech stuff to make a movie
Well,
if you
the
really want
double.
to.
It was almost
Whatever, but
20.
technically
It's
you
like
don't.
20 times the money almost.
Yeah, technically you don't have to make something that's that's high expensive. You just need to do something that's going to look good. It's going to sound good. People might hop onto it, and look what happened with Ryan. Dreams do come true. You just get, I want all this expensive stuff, blah blah blah. No, make the content,
Oh
because
yeah.
you never know what might happen. Like right here, we're making content right now. Like honestly, like I never thought that I would want to do another podcast. I had a podcast in the past that failed because I was kicked out of it, and I'm not getting into details with that. But it's like I always wanted to bring this back up, and it's glad that Hunter came to me and said, "Let's do a podcast," because we love it. This is episode 8 already. We want to continue going, guys. Again, you guys have seen more movie reviews. We haven't done one in a while. Like we're doing Facecam now, so she's bringing a lot of stuff. I know some of you guys probably want to see Facecam. I know we haven't got like really any kind of comments on YouTube about it, but hopefully you guys can continue to maybe enjoy it, maybe let us know what you would like. I like to hear what you guys want. Like you guys want a different topic, because we can talk about film, we can talk about sports, we can talk about Apple all day, but I want to know what you guys would like to hear, what you guys would like to do. What is it? It's 1:00. I do want to make these a little bit shorter, like an hour and 5 minutes, hour and 10 minutes, just because they can get real long. But anyway, guys, I think we're gonna probably end it here. I don't think we have nothing else that we have to say. Do you have anything else you got to add, Hunter?
No, I was gonna go
we
through the
touched.
budget of what Creed.
We could do that. We could do that. Yeah, we could do that.
So Creed's budget went from, it was $40 million. So he jumped from 900,000 to 40 million.
Just like that.
And then the movie made $173 million.
Though the company knew what they were doing when they hired Ryan.
Oh yeah. And
they could see that he was a star in the making.
And then in Black Panther, he went to $200 million.
Oh, jeez.
To $1.348 billion.
Jeez. And over what, the span of what, 3 years?
3 movies.
Yeah, 3 movies. Yeah, probably 1 year. That's probably like 1 year.
Was it like so Black Panther came out, so Fruitvale Station was 2013.
Yep.
Creed was 2015.
2 years after.
And then Black Panther was 2018.
Jeez.
So basically 3 years apart for each film.
Rising, stock rising.
Yep. If he wrote it yep, and he wrote Black Panther too.
Say that his professor wasn't lying. It was all mental with him. He needed to figure it out.
That is the one filmmaker I actually look at and say, listen, I bow down to you. It's like within 3 movies, you've already conquered like
what you want to do, Hunter.
Oh, yeah. It's like, you've done so much. Like for me, I just want, I just want to get into, the world of making movies like that.
You want to have an opportunity. Oh, you can do it. You just gotta put the work into it. Like I said, he had to work for that, Hunter. That wasn't done. That wasn't handed to him.
Oh yeah, it wasn't handed to him. He wrote it and then pitched it. He worked
his ass off. That took years. That just didn't take. He didn't wait. Oh yeah, it's here. Like he took him years to get that. Oh, yeah. And then the fact is, he got rejected by Sylvester Stallone. And it's just like, yo, I'm still making this movie. I'm still making Creed.
Yeah, he says, I want to make Creed. That's the one movie I want to make.
Yep. And even though he was turned down, goes out there and makes that movie, and it made money. He doubled it or tripled his money. And Sylvester's like, holy crap, okay, this kid is I know he's not trying to make me like, is he making me mad? The fact of what he said though. No, he's not trying to make you mad, bro. He just wanted to do what he wanted to do.
It was just a personal story for him.
Yeah, for sure. And see, that goes to show you. That goes to show you. I always want to call you guys chat, but I'm not streaming. This is YouTube. This is YouTube, Hunter. I'm so used to calling. I'll be like, when I do my own videos with DVD, I'll be like, yo, what's going on, chat? I'm like, fudge. This is not chat. This is YouTube. YouTube. That goes to show you, when you go ahead and you put your mind to something, you can always achieve anything in this world. It might not be your time at first, because sometimes it takes long for you to achieve what you want to do. You just can't give up, because guess what? When you raise English is hard, the white flag, nothing will happen because you gave up. the fact is that Ryan didn't give up, and he said, I'm going to do something. I'm going to prevail. I'm going to do this. And that goes to show you that, again, if you guys want to take something out of learning curve out of these podcasts, I would love for you guys to take that as a learning curve. Is don't get discouraged when you're doing something that's not like ideal, especially in the creative field, because it's just so much competition that you have to be known for something. Same would go with streaming, and it goes with anything outside of a certain thing, you know?
Oh yeah. Like for me specifically, when I started my career being a filmmaker, I just try to like say, let's play it safe. Shoot it in a way like you have a lot of wiggle room in post or whatever. And the stuff just came out very bland because it just had no feeling, no texture, no anything like that. So now I kind of go into my career, I go like, okay, listen, I know what would make it look good. It's going to take a little bit more work, but I know if I do it this way, like when I had to do the shoot this weekend, I took a little bit more initiative of like, usually I'm just like, director says, just do this. And I'm like, okay, I'll just do it. And I'm just going like, maybe they'll want this in post. Nowadays, I just go like, listen, I think it'll look better if we do this. And I don't really think we need all this extra BS stuff. In post, like how much are you actually going to use? Are you going to use those 5 angles that you just did? Like, why do we need to record, a whole 5 shots from beginning to end when you're only going to use this part right here, this part right here, this part, So in taking that, I kind of get more clients kind of goes like, okay, but also gives us more time to actually work on something. And there's like different techniques. And I'm actually saying like, okay, if it's dark right here, if it's meant to be dark, I don't try to lighten it back up to say like, oh, just in case you want it in post, it's kind of like, we know what it's going to look like in there. I keep the I'm not sure if anybody knows any technical stuff, but the aperture wise, usually, I really like to have that shallow depth of field look to it. For a while, I just keep it like a good one. It's like everything is kind of good in focus. Now it's kind of like, now I'm going like, let's shoot it like in this depth of field look to it. And I'll actually take the time to make sure it's all focusing up. So it's like, don't be afraid to try new things. Like, don't be afraid to say like, well, what if it doesn't work? It's like, well, it didn't work. And next time you try, next time you just like, you say, okay, didn't work here. How can I got the idea, but how are we going to fix it? Like, how can we do it later?
Right. So that goes with everything. Like you just got to go for it. Like go for it. Go for risks. And I'm all for that. I'm a person that goes for risks. Like I've been streaming for almost 4 years and I'm not where I want to go yet. Like I'm not there. Like I feel sometimes like, should I continue doing this? Like I'm not growing. Like, is it me? Is like, what am I doing wrong? Should I continue hitting the live button? Anything that you do in content creation or creative field, you will feel that. But I'm just gonna put you guys out. I'm just gonna say out there, continue with your head up, continue to go, regardless of the outcome, regardless if you're a streamer and you have like, I only got like 3 views. Well, continue to stream. That's the only way to get better. People keep. I watch a lot of streamers. I'm known in some of the communities, some of the big streamers communities as well. When it comes to everybody asks these big creators, how do you get so big? What do and they say, and I'm gonna put Speaker Loops in this because he's my favorite big DVD streamer. I'm fortunate enough to where I found him. I enjoy his content. People always ask him, always in his chat, people always ask him like I'm a new streamer, how? And he always says this, he preaches it, he always says it: consistency. Stay consistent no matter what. Don't worry about the numbers. Have fun, be yourself. People's gonna like you for you. The more you stream, more people can find you. Also, especially if you're playing Dead by Daylight or any game that's oversaturated, find something that, because if the game's been out for like over like 3 years, you need to find something that is different. Like I'm not saying you don't, I'm saying if you want to play DVD, play DVD or whatever game that it is, just know some games are oversaturated, it's going to take longer.
Oh yeah.
So with that, and the same with filmmaking, it's oversaturated, it's competition. You have to find something that you're good at.
Oh yeah. It's a matter of like being able to say like, listen, I can do what other people do, but I'm not gonna, this is what I do differently right here.
Yeah,
Like,
you have to find something that's different because again,
like
it's streaming and filmmaking is not like it used to be, where you can just be like, oh, it's different. Now it's like anybody can do it.
oh yeah, like
So the
like
technology out there.
I remember back in the day when YouTube was out,
Mhm.
live stuff was like, oh my God, you're actually doing it live.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
nobody was doing that.
Nope.
And eventually it became a thing where it was like, okay, now do it live. Now everybody does stuff live. Like a lot of people
Go
do,
out.
they barely make stuff and then edit it. They just try to do it live. So that way
I love editing. It's cool.
editing's fun. Editing can be nice for when, like, especially for YouTube.
Oh yeah, no, I love editing for YouTube. It's just again, like say it's now saturated. Like everybody knows about it. I think I don't you have any I don't think I have any more thing to talk about. I think we can wrap it up here. I don't have anything more to talk about. I think we touched on everything. Um uh
Um, no, I think we're all good.
yeah, I think we're all good for this episode. But anyways, guys, thank you. If you guys tuned this, if you guys been listening all throughout and you guys got this far, I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Continue to listen to these. Let us again. I need you guys to let us know what you guys would like to hear. Do you love the podcast? Do you hate the podcast? And if you do love it, tell us why you love it. And then if you hate it, tell us why you hate it. I like to know. Thank you for all the support on this podcast. Me and Hunter want to continue to do it. We want to hear you guys' take. You can find his links will be down at the bottom of this episode, like it always is. If you guys want to check out his thing, his website and his YouTube, it would be all down in the link below. This was a very fun episode, guys. Sorry about the delay. I will talk to Hunter about see what he's doing for next week so we can record episode 9 and get out to you guys soon ASAP. Just like sorry for the way it happens. Again, he's doing film, he's doing his career, thank you for bearing with us and thank you for the support on the last episode.
All right. Good talk with you, man.
You too, buddy.